Okay, boys and girls, I'm back. This is Chapter 2, Part 2. And we were talking about Sammy getting caught up in the steel traps over and over again. It finally got too tough for Sammy, and he left home. Oh, he came in once in a while, all long and lean looking, but he never was the same friendly cat anymore. He was nervous and wouldn't let anyone pet him. He would gobble down his milk and then scoot for the timber. Once I decided to make friends with him because I felt bad about catching him in my traps. I reached out my hand to rub his back. He swelled up like a sitting hen. His eyeballs got all green and he growled way down deep. He spat at me and drew back his paw like he was going to knock my head off. I decided I better leave him alone. In no time at all, I cleaned out all the rats, and then something bad happened. I caught one of Mama's prized hens. I got one of those young man peach tree switchings over that. Papa told me to go down in the cane brakes back of our fields and trap. This opened up all kinds of new wonders. I caught possums and skunks and squirrels, and Papa even showed me how to skin my game. In neat little rows, I tacked the hides on the smokehouse wall. I'd stand for hours and admire my magnificent trophies. There was only one thing wrong. I didn't have a big coon skin to add to my collection. I couldn't trap old Mr. Ringtail. He was too smart for me. He'd steal the bait from the traps, spring the triggers, and sometimes he even turned them over. Once I found a small stick standing straight upright in one of my traps. I showed it to Papa. He laughed and said the stick must have fallen from a tree. It made no difference what Papa said. I was firmly convinced that the smart old coon had deliberately poked that stick in my trap. The traps helped my dog wanting considerably, but like a new toy, the newness wore off, and I was right back where I started from. Only this time it was worse, much worse. I had been exposed to the feel of wildlife. I started pestering Mama again. She says, "Oh, no, not that again. I thought you'd be satisfied with the traps. No, Billy, I don't want to hear any more about hounds." I knew Mama meant what she said. This broke my heart. I decided I'd leave home. I sneaked out a quart jar of peaches, some cold cornbread, and a few onions, and I started up the hollow back of our house. I had it all figured out. I'd go away off to some big town, get 100 dogs, and bring them all back with me. I made it all right until I heard the timber wolf howling in the distance. This stopped my home leaving. When the hunting season opened that fall, something happened that was almost more than I could stand. I was lying in bed one night trying to figure out a way I could get some dogs when I heard the deep baying of a coon hound. I got up and opened my window. It came again. The deep voice rang out loud and clear in the frosty night. Now and then I could hear the hunter whooping to him. The hound hunted all night. He quit when the roosters started crowing at daybreak. The hunter and the hound were the only ones awake all night. I laid up and listened to them until the last tones of the hound's voice died away in the daylight hours. That morning I was determined to have some hounds. I went again to Mama. This time I tried bribery. I told her if she'd let me get a hunting dog, I would save the money I earned from my furs and buy her a new dress and a box full of pretty hats. That time I saw the tears in her eyes. It made me feel all empty inside, and I cried a little too. By that time, she by the time she was through kissing me and talking to me, I was sure I didn't need any dogs at all. I just couldn't stand to see my mama cry. The next night I heard the hound again. I tried to cover my head with a pillow and shut out the sound. It was no use. His voice seemed to bore its way through the pillow and ring in my ears. I had to get up again and go to the window. I'm sure if that coon hunter had known what he was doing was slowly killing a 10-year-old boy, he certainly would have put a muzzle on his hound. Sleep was out of the question. Even on nights when I couldn't hear the hound, I couldn't sleep. I was afraid if I did, he would come and I would miss hearing him. By the time hunting season was over, I was a nervous wreck. My eyes were red and bloodshot. I had lost weight and I was as thin as a beanpole. Mama checked me over. She looked at my tongue and turned back one of my eyelids. If I didn't know better, she said, I swear you weren't sleeping well. Are you? Why, Mama, I said, I go to bed, don't I? What does a boy go to bed for if it's not for sleeping? By the little wrinkles that bunched up on her forehead, I could tell Mama wasn't satisfied. Papa came in during one of these inspections. Mama told him she was worried about my health. Oh, he said, there's nothing wrong with him. It's just because he's been cooped up all winter. A boy needs some sunshine and exercise. He's almost 11 now, and I'm going to let him help me in the fields this summer. That will put some muscles back on him. I thought that was wonderful. I'd finally grown up to be a man, and I was going to help Papa with the farm. Boys and girls, that's the end of chapter 2. I look forward to introducing chapter 3 to you tomorrow, and I hope that you and your family are staying safe. And until we meet again, I want you to be thinking about where the red fern grows, be thinking about how Billy wants 2 puppy dogs, and how you may have felt in the past when you wanted a pet. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.